and move on. With me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Are you ready for football season? The king of sportsbooks, BetMGM at Tin Lizzy, is ready for football. Tin Lizzy's BetMGM Sportsbook is the best sports betting experience in South Dakota. From college football to the NFL, make your bet, take in the game, as there's not a bad seat in the house. Your sports betting home for football is Tin Lizzy and BetMGM Sportsbook. Bet on your favorite team and the biggest games. Make your play at Tin Lizzy BetMGM Sportsbook, Main Street, Deadwood.
Farmers and ranchers with up to 24% lower shop rates than most local dealers. Adams ISC in Rapid City is your single go-to source for ag equipment inspection, service, and repair, including air conditioning. With over 20 years experience, Adams ISC Ag Tech Gary Christensen will have your ag equipment repaired and serviced to your satisfaction, either in our shop or at your location with our fully equipped field service truck on Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City or at 605-343-9393. Contact Adams ISC.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The National League Division Series between the Braves and Phillies still delayed due to weather. Originally scheduled to start at 4:35 Eastern. Braves say they're hopeful that they might be able to start around 7:30 or 7:45 Eastern Time. The Phillies lead the series 1-0. NFL Green Bay Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said that Aaron Rodgers not practicing today because of a thumb injury, but that he's not concerned about it affecting Rodgers' status for Sunday's game against the Jets. Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel ruled out Tua Tagovailoa for Sunday's game against the Vikings, so rookie Skylar Thompson will get the start instead. ESPN reports the NFL will not back down on enforcing rules in place to protect the health and safety of players, including quarterbacks, who are considered defenseless players when they are in a passing posture. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy said they're preparing for Cooper Rush to start at quarterback on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles. I'm
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're ready to go. Welcome in. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Good Wednesday afternoon to you. The Nate Brown Show is back. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City from our downtown studio. We're on 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Bring us up there on the radio side. A lot of ways you can listen. FoxSportsRapidCity.com on your phone right there. The live stream always ready to go. And then you can watch the show. Welcome in studio for those of you on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. You've got the show, The Nate Brown Show, on YouTube. Also right there on Twitter. If you have an account and you're not following the show, follow us at Nate Brown Show. Watch the show live, see the guest lineup and the whole deal, and interact with us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. A lot of ways to be a part of the program. We'll get to that. Let's take a look at the Wednesday show guest lineup coming up. The Nate Brown Show brought to you in part by the Rehab Doctors. When it comes to pain relief without surgery in Rapid City, see the Rehab Doctors, the sports medicine physicians of the Rapid City Rush. When it comes to neck pain, back pain, leg pain, pain relief without surgery, that's the team. The Rehab Doctors. Take your first step to feeling better. TheRehabDoctors.com. Let's look at the Wednesday guest lineup. A couple of new guests popping in, and some of our favorites. Some great thought-provoking sports talk, some questions of the day. We'll get after it today. Mike Wall's going to be on the way. Packers former offensive lineman for Green Bay. We'll talk NFL, Green Bay, and more. Mike Wall is on the way. He's one of those guys I want to discuss about, is the NFL officiating doing things the right way? Are they doing things the right way when it comes to this quarterback issue and roughing the passer and the whole thing. That's still being talked about, and we're going to get into that today. Mike Wall, former O-lineman for the Packers. George Stoya's on from Denver tonight, Broncos beat writer, the Denver Gazette. He'll break down where the Broncos sit right now. They play Monday night. Still have a little break here. Monday night against the Chargers. Primetime Broncos again? Tell me you don't love that. Tell me you... All right. George Stowa. Hey, we're going to have fun. Denver Gazette. Ben Verlander's in. Major League Baseball playoffs. Little rain delay for the Braves and Phillies right now, but how about that first day of the ALDS, NLDS yesterday? Ben Verlander going to break it down. Major League Baseball analyst for Fox Sports. Hey, Stevens Boys Soccer is in the state AA championship, and they're trying to win their first title since 2015. They've been in this state title game a lot. Trying to win another title, first one since 2015. Head coach of the Stevens Boys has them in the state AA championship Saturday. Jeff Fierro. He'll join us live talking local Stevens Boys soccer. And our first time we've had this guy, Barrett Sports Media, Archie Shea, on the way. He wrote a piece on everybody getting fired up these days about what broadcasters say and how they say them the wrong way. Where does Archie Shea stand? He'll join us coming up. Barrett Sports Media on the way. All right, our number, if you want to get in today, the Wednesday show, I invite you on, 720-1067. 720-1067 is our number in the studio line. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Direct text the show. We'll bring it up. Get your take on the air, 720-1067. Same number. You can text the show on the Barron's Wilson text line. It is Wednesday. What does that mean? It is Nate Brown Show NFL Power Rankings Day. I'm excited about this. I always have a good time with this. Middle of the week, I say, who's dropping out of my top 10? Who's getting into my top 10? So I'm going to get to that. Nate Brown Show NFL Power Rankings coming up week 6. Who's in? Who fell out? Quite a few teams fell out of the top 10. They were in my top 10. They fell out of the top 10. I took a suggestion from you, the listener, and put one of these teams, it was out of the top 10. They've jumped all the way to number 6. I couldn't put them any lower. I had to put them at number 6. I think these guys are actually pretty solid. I didn't see it coming. I think they're pretty solid. I predicted that they would do well at the beginning of the year. Then I wasn't a believer necessarily. Now I've got them at number 6. Let's get to that coming up. First, I want to go on the local sports side, essentially. I want to start this show with a poll out there in sports when it comes to coaching and kids, and I wonder where you stand on this situation. So here's a recent poll which found out a couple of things when it comes to your kids at practice. If you have kids on a team, maybe you coach a team. Who knows, okay? There's a lot of you guys that are out in the local sports scene here that I run into. Here's what a recent poll just found. A couple of things. 47% of coaches use running to punish their players. 47%. What do you say about that? Okay, I find this poll interesting, so I got into it. It's from Coach and Athletic Director. They have a website. They run through all the big topics in the country and the whole thing. So they found out, they sent out a survey to coaches, and 47% of coaches use running to punish their players. We're in 2022, and everything's supposed to be politically correct. You can't do old school stuff. You got to do new school stuff, and you got to figure out new ways to do things. And that's kind of where I'm bringing this up, okay? What do you say about essentially half of coaches use running to punish their players? I think 47%. To me, I thought that was actually low. What do I mean by? I thought that number was actually low. I would suggest a high percentage of coaches use running to punish their players. I would suggest that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just the sports I've been around, the sports I've seen, the coaches I've been around, they use some running. Hey, you did this wrong, or you're not listening, or you're doing this. We're going to run. You know, we're going to run lines. We're going to run suicides. You know the whole thing. You know how this all plays out. Here's what else the poll found. Though, and this is where it's split. They asked coaches, do you believe that running laps to the fence, suicides, lines, whatever it is, basketball, football, whatever sport you are. Do you believe that running is an effective form of punishment for athletes? What do you say to that? Is running an effective form of punishment for athletes today? 45% say no, 44% say yes, and 11% marked off, not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Let me ask you this question of the day. Let me ask you the Nate Brown Show question of the day, and I want to see where you sit. What do you think of coaches having players run in practices for correction or punishment? You got to do this better. You didn't do this, whatever it may be. Each scenario at practice, you see coaches out there, and we have kids playing and the whole thing. This happened all the time with me back in the day. I mean, it happened all the time on my teams. I would argue today, maybe it happens a little less, but I still think it happens a lot. As a matter of fact, they say right now, essentially recently, this poll, 47% of coaches use running to punish their players. That's half, essentially. I thought it would be even more than that. What was the percentage back in the day? What was it back in the day? I just opened this conversation as a sports topic thinking, how has our mindset shifted at all from the old school ways of motivation / punishment? Have we shifted to a new school thought of, well, there's better ways to do this and better ways to do that? And I'm not so sure we've shifted in that category. Not as much as some other things. Some other things is like, oh, you still do this? You still think of that? When it comes to sports, you're supposed to have the new process, the analytics, the whole thing. Everything's shifted in sports in certain categories. And I look at the punishment side. I ask you this question. What do you think of coaches making players run in practice for correction / punishment? It works, or no, you should look to motivate differently? That's my question of the day. 720-1067. Does it work? Does it work? We had to do it all the time when I was in school. Yeah, when Nate Brown made a mistake. Nate, I told you, 4 times not to do that. Okay? I was just trying to fit it in the window. I was trying to get it in the window. The little lob pass over the top. I didn't see the backside help. Okay? And now we're going to run. So half of coaches use running to punish their players today. Where do you stand? Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Ooh, Billy. Coach made me run extra because I told him he could go for himself. And that's a bad thing. In my day, Nate, I had a coach. He never cussed. Bo Hazlett. Coach Hazlett.
Never cussed?
Never cussed. You know what he said? Jeezy Joe, Jiminy Cricket. But I tell you what, when he said Jeezy Joe, your eyes grew about 3 inches. Hey, I skipped his class one day because I thought he was gone. I come bebopping in the gym about the 7th period. He grabs me, puts me up on the wall, and read me the riot act. You know what, Nate? I never skipped another class the next 2.5 years.
All right. I know where you stand on this. I know where you stand on it.
I'm not going to say anything about any other coach or anything, but, you take a sport like wrestling. Well, we just go live drills, That's everybody's doing it.
Well, that's interesting. So there is ways to condition and still be maybe learning the sport, right?
Yeah, depending on what you did. I mean,
Okay,
if it's real bad,
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If you got kicked out of school, why is that your teammates' fault?
No, I got you on that.
Yeah. It should be more of a team thing, and I tell you why, Nate. I learned this jumping out of airplanes as an airborne ranger. Your team is a team. If one does something, you all got to do it.
Yeah.
And you learn from it.
That's the way it
You
was
trust
back in the day
each
with
other.
me. Is everybody said, "Oh, the
Exactly.
whole team has to run." Yeah, that's the whole team has to run. All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in.
For all you hardcore wannabe HACLIP. The guy won like 9 team titles at Omaha South. Tons of wrestlers. Mike Denny, the great Mike Denny.
Oh, yes.
Wrestled
Yes.
coaching.
All right.
I mean, it's a history lesson. Take a picture of his crew cut. Imagine him going, Cheesy Joe.
I got you.
Have
Thanks.
a great day.
All right. Little windy out there today, is it? Little. It's a little windy out there. That's my question. Look at the results here early on in the Nate Brown Show. It's an interesting sports psychology start to the show today. I've been thinking about this because, by the way, I coach 4th grade girls. Now, I have a great time. I mean, I am passionate about that. I have a great time. I coach 4th grade girls basketball. And the deal is this. I don't have the kids run. This is 4th grade girls. I don't have them run just to run. Now, hear me on this. If we're not doing this or we're not doing that well or we're trying to learn this, they're trying to learn, right? They're 4th grade. They're trying to learn basketball. There's ways we can learn basketball and condition if we're not doing things as well, right? Rather than, hey, it's time to run suicides. I mean, I guess if they said, hey, Coach Nate, you're a moron, maybe I'd have them run suicides. But we try and set those expectations right out of the gate. Respect for each other, okay? We try and set that right out of the gate, okay? Does running work? That's the thing today with today's athletes. Everybody says, today's athletes, are they as tough as back in the day with me and you? Are they as tough? I would say athletes are different today. They're different today. But is the running punishment / correction the right call, whether it was for me or you or the athletes today? That's what this poll is asking. And the coaches, they don't really know. This poll here asks the coaches, do you believe that running is an effective form of punishment for athletes? Like, you're trying to send a message. You're trying, hey, do this better, or you did this wrong, we're going to run. 45% of coaches in this poll say running is not an effective form. 45%. 44% say yes. And then 11% are like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Look at the Nate Brown Show poll results. This is lopsided. And I think it's probably just because people like, hey, I had to run, you have to run. That's what it is. My question is, and the question of the coaches is that the right way to go about it? What do you think of coaches making players run in practice for correction / punishment? 92% of you say it works. 92% of you say it works. 8% of you say, no, it doesn't. Motivate differently. 8% of you is all. Listener text 720-1067 if you want in today on the question of the day as we get going. Listener text, the real question is, do the athletes view the running as a punishment? Do the athletes view the running as a punishment? Yeah, I think so. I think most kids I've been around, and by the way, back in the day with me, I knew that. You screwed up, the whole team has to run. If Jimmy Lipper does this or Jimmy Lipper, whatever, it's not just a one-person thing. And by the way, sometimes, is that the right way to go? Is Jimmy Lipper's late or Jimmy Lipper did something, smarted off to the coach, whatever? Does the whole team run? That's how we did it. Meaning when I played. Does the whole team run? Or should you say, hey, Jimmy Lipper, come over here. After practice, you're going to settle in with me. Okay? We're going to stay dialed in with the team here and get through practice and do that whole thing. But for this punishment, you're going to do this. That's a whole other question. But yeah, I think the athletes are viewing the running as a form of punishment. The deal is it effective? That's what coaches are being asked today, and it seems like they're split. There's a coach named Randy Hisner. He wrote an article on this. He's out of Indiana. He said, when you run, it doesn't address the problem. It could create a negative attitude, and he kind of goes on down that list. My take on it is I'm not sure it's the most effective form. If you're trying to build the athlete's development in the sport, from basketball to wrestling to soccer to whatever, there's ways you can run a lot and still develop in that sport, rather than, here we go, suicides, lines, have a good time. You don't have to take it easy. It's not about taking it easy. It's about, are you finding an effective way to run, condition, and still maybe get a little bit development from the athlete. Like, I know running, punishment is punishment. I'm not so sure it's always the best, most effective way to get the most out of it. 720-1067. Let's see if our poll result changes. See if that changes. Listener text, I think the kids today know they need the cardio, so running's just a conditioning tool. Yeah, and that's one thing. Conditioning's conditioning. You can also find you can find smart ways to condition too, rather than run 5 times around the court, right? With your arms in the air. That's what, we had to do that. It's like, hey, run around the court with your arms in the air. I think we probably could have ran a ton and got to be better basketball players without having to, keep our arms. Keep your arms up, Brown. I remember those days. Such a tragedy. All right, 92% of you say running in practice for punishment works. Running works. Okay, I've got to get to this. Nate Brown Show Power Rankings. I've got to get to this because it's a Wednesday, and I said every Wednesday I'm going to release these. Nate Brown Show NFL Top 10. Nate Brown Show NFL Top 10 for Week 6. Some new teams in. Some teams, I'm being objective as a Broncos fan. I'm being objective, and here's my teams that are in. Let's start at number 10. Nate Brown Show NFL Top 10 for Week 6. I will go Chargers at number 10. I'll go Chargers at number 10. They're 3-2. They haven't looked great. Justin Herbert, I think, is going to be able to work through this thing. And so they're probably going to just get better, I think. They have some injury concerns there, but they're going to get better, I think. The Chargers at 3-2, they're not bad. And I'm going to put them at number 10. The LA Chargers. Number 9, sneaking in at number 9. Back in my top 10. They fell out because I wasn't a believer. I'm still not a big believer, but it's got to be Tom Brady and the Bucs. You got to have the Buccaneers in your number 9 slot. They're going to be in pretty good shape. When it's all said and done, we're only in Week 6. I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. Buccaneers, number 9. At number 8, they've fallen, but they're not going out of my top 10. I'm not going to say they're dead yet. They'll still be right there. I think they're behind, though. The Packers at number 8. The Packers at number 8. Okay, I've thought about it. Are they good enough to be in the top 10? I think so, and I'll put them at number 8. Number 7, Nate Brown Show NFL Power Rankings Top 10. Number 7, same story here. They're not great, but they can make plays. This guy can do a lot of things, and I don't want to play him. You don't want to play him. They're a team that's a tough out every week. Number 7, the Ravens. I'll still go with Baltimore at number 7 for Week 6. Then we get interesting here. A team that hasn't been in my top 10. You guys told me they should be. You told me a long time. You said, hey, look at these guys. They're flying around. They're making plays. These guys are good. I said they would be good in this division. Then I kind of pulled back. I'm like, I don't know. They never meet potential. They never meet their full potential. But now they are. And I think they're going to be pretty good the rest of the way. A playoff team, number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. They enter the top 10, and I had to put them all the way. I'm going, I like them better than the Packers. I like them better than the Buccaneers right now. I'll go Cowboys at number 6, and they have the Sunday night showdown against the Eagles. Okay, top 5, Nate Brown Show NFL Top 10 for Week 6. 5, 49ers. I told you, Broncos beat them. That was the quality win, I thought, very quality win. Barely got by him, but got him. 49ers just number one defense. Jimmy G, if he plays, fine. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers have got enough out of him. 49ers are the real deal. I think they are. I'll put them at number 5. This might be a high ranking for your team at number 4. It might be too high. I will admit that. It might be too high. But I don't think you can just say, well, yeah, they're like the Buccaneers, or put them back there with the Packers and the Chargers. I can't do it. Their record says no. Their offense has high potential. The defense is so far so good. Minnesota Vikings at number 4. Sitting at 4-1, how do I not put the Vikings at number 4? I have to put the Vikings at number 4. And my top 3 have not changed. Philadelphia Eagles will hold at number 3. I still don't believe they're as good as my top 2 teams. From quarterback, which tells the story, Jalen Hurts has been good. Is he a Josh Allen or Mahomes? He is not. So give me the Eagles at number 3. They had a scare against Arizona. That told me they're not invincible. There's a chink in the armor there. I think so. So the Eagles number 3. Buffalo Bills hold on to number 2. And I cannot let go of the number 1 spot from your Kansas City Chiefs. They were down 17-0. You would think, oh, maybe they're not that good. Raiders are up 17-0 at Kansas City. And it's just like Mahomes did last year. He came back from the Texans down 20-0 a few years ago, right? And it just happens all the time. I saw it coming from a mile away. I was watching that going, oh, the Raiders are going to win? No, I never said that once. Even when they got in it late. And then Josh mishandles made the great call of going for 2, and they lose. So give me the Chiefs at number 1. Chargers 10, Buccaneers 9, Packers 8, Ravens 7, Cowboys 6, 49ers 5, Vikings 4. That's a high mark. Eagles 3rd, Bills 2, the Chiefs number 1. We're back with a brand new guest, Archie Shea. He says, are we getting too fired up about what people are saying in these NFL broadcasts? We'll talk to him. Barrett Sports Media, Archie Shea next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy 1 window or patio door. Get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off. Plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
644.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind warning continues until 6 p.m. this evening. A wind advisory continues until 6 p.m. this evening. Clear skies tonight with lows around 37. Northwesterly winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Sunny skies tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 55. Mainly clear tomorrow night, 45. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 51.
Hey Cobbler and Raider fans, you can now show your school spirit and earn money for your booster club. It's easy to get your Raider or Cobbler custom designed debit card today from Highmark Credit Union. Simply open a Highmark free basic checking account and get your Raider or Cobbler debit card. Plus, each swipe will earn money for your booster club. Show your school spirit and support the Raiders and Cobblers with a custom designed debit card. Visit HighmarkFCU.com.
It's Chevy Truck Month at Denny Menlo Rapid Chevrolet. New Chevy trucks are arriving daily with more inbound. Buy them before they get here and get any available incentives. There's more. We'll give you an additional $1,000 discount on any new Silverado 1500. It's a Denny Menholt exclusive. Log on to DennyMenholtRapidChevrolet.com. Find what's on the way and buy it before it arrives. Truck Month is on. Find new roads at Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet or DennyMenholtRapidChevrolet.com.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Hey renters in the Black Hills, I'm State Farm Agent Scott Carlson, and I'm ready to surprise you in a good way with surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance. That's right, me and my team can help you protect your car and your stuff for less than you might think. Get a quote and see how much you can save. You might be surprised. Call me, State Farm Agent Scott Carlson, for your surprisingly great auto and renter's rate today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't make a bad call the next time you need an attorney. The lawyers of Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers have been serving the legal needs of clients throughout the state for over 75 years. Serious legal issues like divorce, business disputes, personal injury, and criminal matters require a solid team. When you need a win, call Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers at 721-1517. Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers, proudly supporting our area's youth and sports teams in their pursuit of excellence.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio, sales, service, and recreation, this is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show just getting started on a Wednesday. Just released my power rankings for Week 6 in the NFL. We do it every Wednesday. We have some debate so far in my top 10. I go with my top 10 Nate Brown Show power rankings. Stayed with the same top 3. Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Eagles 3. Slipped the Vikings in at 4. That's high. It's a high water mark. But I got to go Vikings at 4, 49ers at 5. Cowboys make their first appearance at 6. And then have some debate here. People not liking the Packers in there at number 8, saying the Packers just aren't there. And then somebody said you shouldn't have the Vikings in your top 10. They're 4-1. All right. Archie Shea's on tonight. He's with Barrett Sports Media. Writes some interesting pieces. Barrett Sports Media. He has a podcast and the whole thing, right? Find him on Twitter at Archie Shea. And he wrote about Troy Aikman and this roughing the passer and this whole NFL thing, and Troy Aikman saying, take the dresses off, and people getting fired up about that. It's like, it seems like we get so fired up about stuff these days. Archie, it's good to get you on the program. How are you?
I am great. I'm even better knowing that my Cowboys made your power rankings top 10. I appreciate the Cooper Rush love this week.
Okay, so should I not be a believer? It's my first time I put the Cowboys in my top 10, Archie, and I say it's just because I look at the defense. They fly around. They have a great rush. Cooper Rush has been good enough, and they're sitting there at 4-1. They just seem a lot better than the Giants, for example. So Cowboys at 6. That's fair.
I'd like to say no, but I also have no idea about this team. When Dak got hurt week 1, I had one of my best friends text me, sorry about the season, and I thought, yeah, that's probably right. So yeah. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be this 5 games into the season.
Yeah, I got you on that. So here's the thing. I wanted to get you on. You write pieces for Barrett Sports Media, and essentially you wrote about the media and others around the country after Monday night's deal. Roughing the passer called again, and we have this big controversy in the NFL the last couple of days. Sunday with Tom Brady, and then Monday night with Chris Jones on Derek Carr. And your piece was based on, okay, Troy Aikman says, we got to take the dresses off. I mean, what are we doing here? And there was a lot of people that had that sentiment, but people got upset about the way Aikman said it. What do fans really think?
I think the fans that actually care about the product that we're seeing, and those would include someone like a Troy Aikman who, somewhere around 3,200 concussions into his NFL career, will call it quits. I think those fans know that the way he said that and the way he approached it is just a different way of saying the same thing, but a better way of saying the same thing. There are those, and I hate to be one of these folks that go around the quote-unquote wokeness of everything, but everyone's just looking for something to trigger them. And I don't understand why someone who is paid so handsomely from two different major networks that are willing to pay billions of dollars to put the National Football League on, clearly he's got clout, clearly he's got staying power, why someone using a bit more of a colorful phrase is such a bad thing when we're talking about, quote-unquote, removing the dresses. All he did, Nate, was say what you and I said on Saturday when we saw in the college football happen, and on Sunday with Tom Brady, and then on Monday Night Football again, which is, we're tired of seeing that. He was exasperated in that moment. I think he was just like every one of us in that booth, just wanted to say in a different term. And by the way, Nate, I would have said a lot more words that aren't allowed to be said by the FCC.
I got you on that. Archie Shea on tonight, he wrote a piece on Troy Aikman, kind of took heat. And basically, I saw the headlines, Archie, from some media companies. They said, well, this was a sexist comment. So I have females that call into the show, females that listen. Are they offended by that? I mean, it's me and you, two guys talking. Did Troy Aikman step on their toes? I can't, before I wrote this piece, I try to, as much as I can, think about it in all possible terms. And I can't find a single thread of credibility to say that stepped on anyone's toes. Because I think what you're talking about when you say a phrase like taking the dresses off the players is, one, you're assuming NFL players wear dresses, which is untrue, I have found. Two, you're assuming in 2022 that only women wear dresses, also untrue. And you're equating dresses with weaknesses, which also, again, in 2022, we have patently said is untrue. All we've said is we're basically taking away what is a signal of a powerful sport, and we've taken it away, and we've tried to relegate it somewhere else that doesn't make sense. We're not taking away any women in football movement. We're not taking any. I shouldn't say we. I'm not Troy Aikman's friend, but there is no moment that in that very brief sentence that stops any progress women make, impedes it by any way. Nate, you probably know this better than I do. There are more women coaching, scouting, in analytics, in the front office, playing the sport at the middle school, high school level, creating leagues for it, and then just playing around and talking about it than ever before. This comment is by in no means degrading any of that. Okay, I look at this and I say, do some media companies, do you believe, Archie, do they write these stories like, the ones say, oh, Aikman, this was terrible to say, I can't believe he said it this way. Is this just to get clicks on the stories, or is there a big portion of media that, some companies that say, oh, we got to really highlight this? I just wonder. I don't know.
I think there is a lot of the clickiness to it. It was a moment that a lot of people heard at the moment and thought, oh, well, that's interesting. But Nate, as I wrote in the piece, and people can check it out at BarrettSportsMedia.com, what Troy Aikman was doing was saying what everyone else was saying in a more colorful and interesting way that we're paying attention to what he's saying. How many times do you need to hear someone say, let's put the flags on the guys already? Like that happens 4 million times. Like I'm not going to pay attention to that. But if he says in a different, colorful way, and this is coming from someone who used to do sports radio for a living, programmed radio stations, so on and so forth, like from a broadcasting standpoint, I want my guy that I'm listening to be interesting. And so that's why, Nate, I want you to be interesting when you're talking to me. I want Troy Aikman, if he's going to chime in at all, be interesting. And he was both interesting and compelling and feeling with us, the fans, all of what we were talking about. You heard the stadium in the background. They were all booing. Arrowhead Stadium was going nuts over it. So, people are just looking for some clicks, and I think there may be 8 or 10 people that actually truly believe it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Troy Aikman, a former quarterback, by the way, who was also saying, hey, we're treating the quarterbacks too softly. And I think that resonates because he's been in that wheelhouse. Archie Shea on BarrettSportsMedia.com, where his piece is on the Aikman reaction. One more I'm going to ask you, Archie. So, should the NFL do something different? Let's just talk about the roughing the passer. I asked my audience, should we make this reviewable? Is that the road we have to go down? There's some people that say, no, the NFL's going to push back here. They want to protect the QBs at all costs. End of story.
There is nothing that the National Football League can do with this call. They have butchered it into absolute oblivion. There is no way you can make it a reviewable thing, because here's another thing that will happen, Nate, is that they will just go find evidence that supports a roughing the passer call. It doesn't take much when you're looking at things in slow motion. You know, the hit on Tua wasn't a roughing the passer call, but it was hard as hell.
Right,
you know,
right.
So, like, if you want to go back and start reviewing that, not only do you slow the game down, which I already loathe at the very idea of it, but you're not hitting the problem, which is the NFL wants to protect quarterbacks. Good. Embrace it. If you're going to throw these flags, fine. But there's nothing they can do to change this that's going to make it suitable for us, the fans, because we already know that there is an emphasis on a position that we don't think should be as much emphasis put on. That we are protecting one part of the game more than the rest of it, and they're just going to keep calling a penalty like this, whether it's this one or the one that we're going to be talking about on your show next week. Like, there's just going to be another one that's truly terrible. I don't think the reviewable helps. I don't think having an eye in the sky to call it helps. I don't think any of that helps. I think this is just a penalty that, and I hate to say this as someone who likes to solve problems, but we're just going to have to deal with it as fans, and we're just going to have to be what one of my former co-hosts said, a penalty vulture about, and just scream about it every time it happens, and that's just going to be our fate in life.
Archie Shea writes for BarrettSportsMedia.com. Interesting piece on Troy Aikman's reaction and the reaction to Troy. Find him on Twitter at Archie Shea. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Archie, good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping in.
Nate, thank you so much, and thank you to Rapid City for listening to me.
I appreciate it. Archie Shea on tonight, BarrettSportsMedia.com. They cover the media scene and kind of the media reaction. It's really interesting to me, right? And this piece hit home. You know, it's like, no, this is interesting to the fans, too. So he wrote about Troy Aikman and what he said, and then what people kind of reacted to Troy Aikman, and I'm like, man, it's just another one of those things. I do a show for 2 hours every day. Try not to offend anybody. I mean, we run a pretty clean operation here, I think. But it seems like people can get offended about anything. It just does. I have women that listen to the show, including my wife, by the way, sometimes. And I don't think, like Troy Aikman, he took a lot of heat because when he talked about that roughing the passer Monday Night Football, he said, we got to take the dresses off. And then there was numerous articles that came out. That's a terrible way to say that. It denigrates women, and it's sexist and the whole thing. And I don't think a ton of people think that. I'm not a woman, so I can't put myself in that spot. There was a reaction from a female who's a host in Boston on WEEI. That's a sports radio station there in Boston. She says, quote, about the Aikman thing, I'm not offended at all. Who cares? Be mad at the important stuff. Why are you mad at this? And she went on to say, there's women participating in football. They're coaching. They're analyzing. They're scouting. Troy Aikman is not stopping that. Don't be mad at this. So I tend to think it's another overreaction sometimes that this is said and that's said. And there are some things that are off color. I mean, there are some things that guys say and do, not good. I don't think this one fell in the really bad category. Interesting stuff from Archie Shea. Says you start reviewing roughing the passer, and now it's just going to be a mess because they're not going to change it. And that's kind of the push today. If you've looked across the landscape here today as I came in for the show, and I'm looking at what we're going to talk about today, I said, look at the NFL. They're like pushing back, saying basically, we're going to keep it like this. They're initially it was like everybody's fired up. They might make some changes to the roughing the passer. Now today, there's a little pushback from numerous sources. They're saying, we're protecting the quarterbacks. We want Mahomes and Josh Allen playing on Sunday, not sitting. And so we are going to treat them with kid gloves, and we are going to protect the quarterbacks at all costs. It doesn't matter if the fans are getting mad. What do you say about that? Well, fans can get mad, and everybody keeps talking about this call and that call. The NFL thinks that's okay. You're talking about this. That's not as bad as if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt and isn't playing in Week 15. That's what they think. Maybe they're right. It's a $20 billion industry. They think Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady playing is way more important than people arguing about roughing the passer and being a pansy. Interesting. That's kind of what's the story is today. What does Mike Wall have to say? Former Packer offensive lineman. Old school, played in the tough days. What does he say about a lot of this? Mike Wall, former Packer, on the way.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
Every time you play at First Gold Gaming Resort, you're locked and loaded to win your share of Deadwood's biggest giveaways. Starting with $8,600 in hot seat promo play drawings every Friday through Sunday. Saturday nights win $1,000 cash at the top of every hour from 5 till 11 p.m. And on Saturday, October 29th, it's the biggest of them all, the $18,000 Golden Cash Blast. First Gold Gaming Resort. It's where Deadwood begins and the winning never ends.
The bakers of Country Hearth and Village Hearth Breads are proud to support local education with Loaves for Learning, the program that makes it easy to earn money for your school. Enjoy Country Hearth and Village Hearth all-natural breads, buns, bagels, and more, then save the UPC from the package for your school to collect and redeem. Each is worth 5 cents and can be used for books, computers, sports, music, whatever your school needs, up to $10,000 a year. Learn more at loavesforlearning.com. Country Hearth and Village Hearth Breads, baking our best for you.
If you're planning to keep on driving your current vehicle with higher miles on it, drive with confidence after a thorough inspection at Pro Auto Care. Regular service and preventative maintenance is extra important for higher mileage vehicles, so bring yours on into Pro Auto Care to keep it running longer for you. At Pro Auto Care, Tom and his crew pledge to give you an honest evaluation and never over-service or overcharge. From inspections to oil changes, brakes, tires, and major automotive service, trust Pro Auto Care. Open as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Brandon Drum, D2 lacrosse player at Mars Hill University.
I started going to Elevate Performance for problems with my knee, and after working with Britt, he identified some other issues that helped me prevent severe injury. Elevate's strength and conditioning program also helped me perform at a much higher level. My goal was to play college lacrosse, and I am thankful for Britt and Elevate for helping me achieve that goal. Elevate worked with me on a personal level and helped mold me into a stronger athlete.
Get your athlete started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Well, at Black Hills Health and Wellness Center, we have 4 chiropractors in the clinic, and our big focus is working on the musculoskeletal health of patients. Being in business in 39 years and having done business with every single bank in the area, in the community, in the last 2 years, we have definitely realized how much we have been missing out with the extra go-the-distance service that Pioneer Bank and Trust is willing to provide you. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Packed lineup tonight. Ben Verlander is going to join us, Major League Baseball analyst, Fox Sports, Flippin' Bats podcast, Fox Sports #1 Major League Baseball guy, Ben Verlander. And his brother pitched yesterday. He survived. Justin Verlander survived as the Astros got down and then came back and won it in the bottom of the ninth. Unreal. Talk to Ben Verlander about the rest of the ALDS and NLDS coming up. George Stoya's on the way. Broncos beat writer live from Denver. George Stoya on the Broncos. I'm hearing Russell Wilson has his own quarterback coach. Now, I mean, he has a quarterback coach on the Broncos, but he has his personal quarterback coach. What does that mean? Is that good? Is that normal? Mike Wall's on right now, former Packer, Green Bay Packer offensive lineman. His company Process to Perform, helping athletes across the country, by the way. Oh, I got to get into this question of the day with Mike before we get into the NFL. Mike, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time, as always. So I got to get this question of the day your way. There's a recent poll here that finds 47% of coaches in this country, youth high school, they use running as a form of punishment. They use running. I ran all the time. My coach said, hey, you stink and the team stinks and you guys are going to run because of this and this and this. That happened all the time. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's changed in 2022 or not?
Oh, gosh, I don't think so.
You don't? Okay, I don't think so either.
Yeah, the last practices I've been to, if that whistle blows because something went wrong, it usually means you're running to the fence and back.
Okay, so I thought that number was low. 47% say, yeah, we use running as a form of punishment. I thought that number was low. Is it effective, Mike? You train athletes. Is it effective, running as a form of correction?
Well, so negative reinforcement doesn't work for every athlete, but I think generally speaking, when there's some sort of negative reaction to doing, if it's a behavioral thing, like if you're forgetting to do something. In other words, if you're missing a shot, so you have to go run, probably not. But if you have some behavior that is preventing the team from being successful and running it off, which by the way probably helps you in the long run, anyways. For me, it makes a lot of sense. But negative reinforcement isn't for everybody. That's for certain.
Mike Wall on tonight, former Green Bay Packer. I wanted to get your take on that. By the way, my audience says, what do you think of coaches making players run in practice for correction? 88% say it works. 12% say no, you should motivate differently. All right, Mike Wall's in. Let's go to the Packers first. I've got them in my top 10. I release it every Wednesday, Mike, my Power Rankings top 10. I've still got them at number 8. I'm iffy with it. I just think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to be that good. Where do you have them standing?
Oh, gosh, they probably right around 10.
Is that all right? Okay.
I wouldn't argue with 8. Certainly, listen, they have the thing that's frustrating. I think if you're a Packers fan is, especially if you look at the defense right now, you have I think 6 or 7 first rounders on the defense. You have guys who brought in big time free agents, Devondre Campbell, and Preston Smith, and we just don't have the results that you expect. I think, or the consistency you expect, and I think a big part of that is kind of what's going on in the back end with the secondary right now. And then offensively, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a 4-time MVP, is a back-to-back MVP. Aaron Jones is playing like an absolute star right now. I don't know, other than those guys, though, who's really kind of standing out. And usually in this, the best way to kind of characterize the Green Bay Packers offense right now is we don't have anybody taking the top off. So, Devontae Adams, you could kind of go to. You could throw the fader out. We're going to see it this weekend against the Jets. If they press man, you kind of throw the back shoulder fade, and he'd make that play. We just don't have that play in our playbook right now, and so things are it's just tough slogging right now for the Packers. They can't throw those swing routes, the running backs, and everything just looks different because the spacing of the field is actually shrunken.
Is there a situation here where look at this number, the Packers defense, and I'm looking at it. I just saw this number. Teams are their completion percentage against the Packers is 72.9, a big number. What's going on?
If you watch the Packers defense right now, I mean, considering we have 3 of the 4 base starters our first-round picks, or both our cornerbacks are first-round picks. Jair Alexander's one of the highest-paid guys in the league. We don't use them. We don't use them in man coverage and press man. We run a ton of zone, and when they run zone, they're playing 10 yards off. They're playing 10 yards off. I mean, I read a stat today that said we don't even get to third. We get to third down the least amount of any defense in the league because guys are getting first downs on first or second down. We don't even make it to our third down stats. So we're just playing really far off right now. It's that bend but don't break idea, but unfortunately that's eating up clock that we just don't, we don't have a quick stride offense on the other side of the football now. So this idea that we can bend but don't break and eat up the clock really doesn't work this year.
Mike Wall on, former Green Bay Packer, processtoperform.com. His company is on Twitter at MikeWall68, has a podcast as well on your block with Amon Green. I want to ask you about the topic of the day, big topic last couple of days, roughing the passer, Mike. Seemed like you were a little fired up about it. I saw something from you a while ago. It seemed like you're fired up. What can the NFL do with these roughing the passer calls? Tom Brady got one. Derek Carr got one. Mahomes got thrown to the ground the same way. He didn't get one. Inconsistent is what it looks like. How do they figure this out?
I think the only thing you can do at this point, Nate, is as of tomorrow, instill a referee's review, like the VAR system they have in soccer, for example. You have to be able to go to the booth.
Is that right? You want that?
I think. You know what? I know it takes time to do, but there's going to. You've already cost people games, or potentially cost people games, and for me, it's such a subjective call that's being manipulated. I mean, if Tua doesn't go out with a head injury the week before, we get in these calls? Probably not, right? And for that reason alone, I think the subjectivity of the call, we have to be able to let cooler heads prevail up in the booth, and take the opportunity, even if it takes 30, 45 seconds, to just say, especially in the case of the Tom Brady one, I mean, you've got to be kidding me. That's the worst. That's arguably the worst call I've ever seen in football.
Okay, I was there with you. I really was. I tweeted about that night. I'm like, that was the worst one I've ever seen. But then I thought the next one was worse. Chris Jones on Monday night. I thought that was actually worse. So I look at it. The league says this today, Mike. They say, this is Adam Schefter. He says, a source says, the league's not backing down on enforcing rules to protect the health and safety of players, including quarterbacks. So it felt like, well, maybe they're going to talk about this. And now today, it's like, no, we're going to do this. And I guess it's this, Mike. We got to have Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. They have to be playing. Otherwise, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, it's a money business. Listen, I read a stat today that I think 22 out of the top 30 television ratings and over the last year have been National Football League games. Like, these guys are making a ton of money over on 5th Street in New York. And until the players can complain about it, the diehards can complain about the roughing the passer and how I'm going to sit here with my friends and talk about how it used to be and how we miss football. But the reality is the demographics are only growing and the money's only getting bigger. And until they do something that is against that, against the idea that we want to make more money. Certainly having Brady, having Mahomes, having Tua Tagovailoa with his hands frozen and lying on the ground and having to be carted off is the one thing that the NFL cannot have.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff really doesn't matter. It just matters to guys like you and me.
Yeah, I think that's right. I said everybody argues about it, but the NFL, I think, is just going to hold firm on it. Mike Wall, Packers offensive lineman, processtoperform.com. Catch his podcast on Believe. He's on Twitter at MikeWall68. Mike, always appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate. See you.
Appreciate it. Mike Wall in tonight, former Packer. His podcast on the Believe Network with Amon Green, Mike Wall 68 on Twitter. Always good talking football. Mike Wall knows his stuff. So he's had it. He's an old school guy that's played, right? He played back in the day on some great Green Bay Packer teams. He says, we got to make it reviewable. That's what I said the other day. I said you just have to make it reviewable. And then, we've had guests on. I like this, thought-provoking debates here because we have different guests on that say, no, you can't make it reviewable. It's just going to be a mess, and they're not going to reverse calls. They're not going to change them, right? So just just keep it how it is, and the NFL's just going to hold firm. Adam Schefter says today, a leaked source says, there's no backing down on enforcing rules that are in place to protect the health and safety of players, including quarterbacks. And they go on, who by rule are considered defenseless when they are in a passing posture. So the quarterback's in a passing posture. He's defenseless, so I can't hit him? That's seriously, I'd lose my mind if I'm playing defense. I would lose my mind. And it's all subjective again, because Patrick Mahomes gets swung down to the ground. It wasn't super hard. It was a normal tackle. Nothing called. Well, then the Chiefs fans went berserk Monday night because there was just a roughing the passer on the passing posture stance of Derek Carr, and Chris Jones hit him. I mean, it's wild. So I said I think you should make it reviewable. To why? Well, you can keep the rule in place this way, but can you help the integrity of the game, which fans will get fired up about if this is the way it's going to go the rest of the season? Games are going to be changed, like the Falcons-Buccaneers game. That was an impact play in the final 3 minutes. I mean, a big play that lost the game for the Falcons, essentially. It sealed the win for the Buccaneers, I should say that. So games are going to be changed. Big dollar business, $20 billion business. Games are going to be changed. The fans that pay that money, they're going to be fired up. The integrity of the game's going to lack. There's going to be some fault there. I think the only way you can try and make it reviewable to see if it's really egregious roughing the passer. And I think fans would be a little happier. Everybody will still debate and argue about some calls. I don't think this is like pass interference. It's not as subjective as pass interference. You can look and say, okay, that was a tackle. And maybe if you looked at the Tom Brady one for a second time, you'd say, oh, no, that was my bad. I just got influenced by Tom whining. Yeah, Tom whined to me, so I threw the flag. So take a look at it. Call it back. Can't impact games like that. Got to make it reviewable. It doesn't look like the NFL's going to want to do that on the fly here. Let's go to George Stoia, Broncos beat writer for the Denver Gazette. Are the Broncos in really bad shape? Are they in really bad shape, or can Russell Wilson climb out of this? George Stoia on Russell Wilson and also his personal quarterback coach. Next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy one window or patio door, get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off, plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
For Fox Sports Rapid City Forecast. A high wind warning continues until 6 p.m. this evening. A wind advisory continues until 6 p.m. this evening. Clear skies tonight with lows around 37. Northwesterly winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Sunny skies tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 55. Mainly clear tomorrow night, 45. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 51.
All right, Rapid City, one of my favorite places is Pour 54 downtown. If you're looking for the best place to have a cold one with friends, maybe date night with your wife, or just go and watch the big game with some buddies in their great sports area upstairs, Pour 54 has it all. Plus, 54 taps of beer from local and regional breweries, and it's self-serve. You don't have to wait around. You can get what you want right away. And the food's out of this world. I love the Detroit-style pan pizzas. Check out Pour 54. You'll love it. Downtown Main Street.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, this is Cody Young at High Plains Physical Therapy and Aquatic Therapy Center. I started High Plains PT in 1999, and we've been providing personalized care in Rapid City to help our patients get back in action. Remember, you have a choice for who you go to see for physical therapy. With our state-of-the-art Aquatic Therapy Center, we are equipped to help you achieve your health goals. At High Plains, we'll give you the one-on-one treatment you deserve. We look forward to working with you at our new facility. To get started, visit highplainspt.com.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show live on a Wednesday. My power rankings are out. My Denver Broncos have fallen out of the top 10. They haven't been there for a while. Hate to break it to you, okay? They're out of the top 10, okay? I put the Chargers in at number 10. I mean, I'm objective here on this program. I am fair and balanced. You know that. Chargers at number 10. Chiefs at number 1. From a Broncos fan like me, I mean, you can't be more of a straight shooter. Oh, yes. We're live on Fox Sports Rapid City. George Stoya's on tonight. Let's talk Broncos. How bad is it right now for the Broncos? Injuries piling up now. I hate to see that. I mean, some key injuries here. And a struggle like no other. Swimming through oatmeal on the offensive side. The Denver Gazette, Broncos beat writer George Stoya back on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. George, good to have you back. How are you?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. So let's get into this here. I just said injuries piling up. Ronald Darby's been good at corner. He's out. Randy Gregory. I mean, there's been some key guys here. How concerned are the Broncos?
I think they're pretty concerned. I mean, when you have that many guys out, I think I saw the statistic the other day of the amount of salary they have on the injured reserve right now, and I don't even think that stat included Ronald Darby and Garrett Bowles, who you just mentioned, and you know, those two guys, the two latest ones, and obviously, you know, Darby there on that one side at corner. It looks like they're going to have to replace him with either, you know, rookie Damari Mathis, who's come in and played well, but you know, he is a rookie. He's a guy that's going to get picked on, or Michael Ojemudia, who's been pretty, you know, inconsistent throughout his first couple years in the NFL. And then you look at left tackle and losing Garrett Bowles. That's already been an issue on the offensive line. I mean, across the board, they haven't been relatively healthy, and they really haven't been very good through the first 5 games. So to lose Bowles, who is probably their best offensive lineman, is a huge blow, and they're going to have to replace him probably with Calvin Anderson, an undrafted guy who's been in the league last couple of years, has done some nice things as a backup, come in and filled in some roles, but he's definitely not on Garrett Bowles' level in terms of talent. So I think they are concerned. Things are starting to pile up, but they also know that's the reality of the NFL. Everybody has injuries. It just seems like the Broncos have had a really tough break, especially recently.
Well, think about this. Javonte Williams, high-profile main running back, gone. Garrett Bowles, left tackle, gone. Randy Gregory, gone. Ronald Darby, gone. Before the season, Tim Patrick, top target in the red zone, gone. And now it's Russell Wilson of the offense here that's just been struggling anyway. So I'll go to this. Can the Broncos get this offense going? We've been asking for the last few weeks. I mean, how hot is it down there for Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah, I would say, you know, in terms of from fans, I think it's obviously very hot. I think that they've obviously been very critical of him, and you know, I think he deserves some of it. The offense obviously has not been able to, you know, score points. They're actually moving the ball about average with everybody else in the league, but they're dead last in red zone efficiency, I think at 21%, which is almost, you know, double less than what the next worst team has. So that's not very good, right? So I think that obviously is concerning. But I do think there's a part of me, Nate, that I don't know if I put it all on Nathaniel Hackett. I think if you go back and you watch some of these games, guys are open, plays are there to be made. And either there's a case of the drops, which has been an issue with a lot of guys this year, mainly Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, even KJ Hamler. The tight ends have been a big issue in that. And then I think Russell Wilson has obviously been off so far this season. I think he's missed some guys. I mean, you look back on Thursday Night Football and the throw to Sutton, he had KJ Hamler wide open. We've all seen the clip now. And it's those type of plays that you kind of have to circle and say, well, how much of this is on Hackett? I mean, obviously the head coach deserves some blame, and when you're an offensive play caller like he is, he's going to get a lot of the blame for the offense's mistakes. But I do think there's some blame to be placed on the players as well in terms of executing what's being called. So, I think they'll get it turned around because history says and statistics say that eventually they'll average out and get better as the season goes on. But when you have the injuries that you do have right now, when you talk about losing Javonte Williams, Garrett Bowles, and Tim Patrick, three guys that you could argue were the three best players in each of their position groups, it's always going to be hard to recover from that. And then you add on top of that, Russell Wilson is not 100%. I don't even know if he's 90% or 80%. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles this shoulder injury moving forward because it was very clear last Thursday that he was not healthy.
George Stoia is on, Broncos beat writer, the Denver Gazette. Find him on Twitter. Follow him, Bronco fans, at George Stoia, live from Denver. So I'll ask you this. I've seen some reporting down there. Russell Wilson has a personal QB coach. I've heard about this with other guys, like, I work with this guy in the offseason, and he gets me right, and the whole thing, like Tom Brady even. But then they're like, well, there's a personal QB coach here, and now the quarterback coach for the Broncos, too. That's Kubiak, and then you got Hackett over there. It's the offensive coordinator, head coach. Like, who's Russell listening to? Is there any story to this?
I would have told you about a month or two ago there is no story to this, that it wasn't an issue. And I think that's because at the time we all thought it was going to go smoothly and we thought the Broncos were going to be a good football team. But now that things haven't been working, it seems that there's some sort of communication issue between Hackett and Wilson and trying to, Hackett talked the other day about tailoring the offense to Wilson, but also still doing what he was doing in Green Bay and calling plays for Aaron Rodgers and kind of mixing it all together. That hasn't worked so far, and I don't know if that's just going to take time and we have to give them patience. But I do wonder if there's too many cooks in the kitchen right now in terms of what they want to do offensively. And if I were them, at this point, I'm probably just going to tailor it straight to Russell and say, okay, what is he most comfortable with? What is he, best at? We saw in Seattle, he was best when he got outside the pocket. He scrambled. He did things in play action. Again, rolled out and did different things down the field. We haven't seen a whole lot of that from the Broncos, so I wonder if they change that. And I don't know if that's something that Russell's pushing for or if his personal quarterback's coach is pushing for it. Now, I will say he's not typically out there, coaching during practice. He's usually out there watching sometimes. And he's mostly used in the offseason. That's when they really use him, and that's when Russell works with him most. But he is around the facility. It's Jake Heaps, who played in the NFL, I believe played with Russell for maybe a couple seasons in Seattle. And he's a guy that has, worked with multiple quarterbacks. But I do think that there's probably some communication issues between, people in Russell Wilson's camp, what the Broncos want to do, and all of that. And I think that's why it's playing out on the field so far, is that it just doesn't look like Russell's comfortable. And I don't know if that's the system, if that's Russell being injured or what it is, but it's definitely something that I think they need to work out moving forward.
Last one for George Stoia, Denver Broncos beat writer for the Denver Gazette, live from Denver. Is it possible, if things continue to go poorly, that Russell Wilson will lose any connection he has there in the locker room? People love talking about this in Denver, George. I hear people saying, I don't think guys like him. KJ Hamler slammed his helmet. People are looking at him weird on the sideline. Is that valid?
I think there's always a chance of that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that these guys for the most part, do enjoy playing with him. Now, of course, you want to win, and I think they understand that. But I think they also understand that he is playing a little bit injured and that this is going to take time. And it is a weird dynamic because, you mentioned KJ Hamler. This is a really young football team that hasn't learned how to win football games. This is a team with really young talent. Even Cortland Sutton, who's one of the more veteran guys on the team, he's only been in the league now, 4 years. This isn't a team that's been around a long time. I mean, Russell Wilson is one of the oldest players on the roster, at 32, 33 years old, or however old he is. So I think that these young guys, they might be frustrated, but I think they also do realize that this is a better option than what they've had in recent years. And I think that they trust that eventually they'll figure it out. Now, if they go and they lose every game from here on out, then, yeah, I think you have the chance of losing the locker room, not only for Russell Wilson, but Nathaniel Hackett and his coaching staff. So I think anything's possible, but I think they also know that this is their best chance to win moving forward.
George Stoia on tonight, Denver Gazette, Broncos beat writer. He's on Twitter at George Stoia. George, always good, man. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nate.
I appreciate it. George Stoia tonight on the Nate Brown Show here on Fox Sports Rapid City. Denver Gazette, Broncos beat writer, live from Denver. I think Russ is taking a lot of heat here. I mean, some of the Denver media is not being great. Yeah, they don't like Russ, and he's cringy, and he's this and that. It's like, these are the same guys that didn't like Tim Tebow, right? I mean, they didn't like Tim, and Tim won a few games, but nobody liked Tim. I liked Tim, but nobody else. Everybody hated Tim. And it's similar. I think it's similar. It's like, Russell Wilson struggling. Let's pile on. Let's hammer him. Let's kill him. Let's just take him down. I don't want to see that right now. Let's hang tight. Let's see if the Broncos can get going, because I'm telling you, this has been a bad 6 years. Ever since the Peyton Manning days, okay? It's been a bad 6 years. So Russell Wilson is the guy, and I'm convinced he all of a sudden didn't get bad all of a sudden. He didn't get bad all of a sudden. There's a lot of factors at play. I'm still a believer. And I think Russell Wilson's a good character, high character leader. Okay? Whether you want to say you don't like him and he's a goofball and he shouldn't do this commercial and he looks like a moron. I mean, that's all junk. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, thanks for taking my call, and thanks for having George Stoia on. He's really, really knows his stuff, and he's a pleasure to listen to. I was going to say I'm still with you as far as Russell Wilson, but I think the narrative also comes from the national media. I mean, whether it be calling him a poser, a fraud, or listen to my favorite guy Gottlieb, and they just go gaga all over this stuff. But it's just anyway.
It's some in Denver too, though. It's some in Denver.
Absolutely,
it's rough.
Absolutely. The only way, absolutely. But I was going to say, I mean, we got Benjamin Albright and Ryan Edwards are still sticking through it thick and thin, and other than that, there's a lot of negativity going on. But real quickly. Is it just me, or have I not heard a lot about this injury? Everybody acts like it's a big conspiracy theory or something instead of an actual injury. I've heard it's the big muscle in the back under the arm that connects to the shoulder.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Like, nobody's saying much, and I think it's like, well, this is another excuse for Russell Wilson. Maybe that's the thing.
But I've also seen a doctor on a YouTube video saying if it's if it's a partial tear or something, he should probably sit for 3-4 weeks because it won't heal throughout the season if he doesn't let it heal. So we'll see what happens.
Keep an eye on that, huh?
I've been kind of curious about that
injury,
I got you on
that.
More conspiracy theories than anything. But anyway, let's see what happens Monday night.
All right,
I won't say it can't get any worse because that would be jinxing us.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. Good to hear from you. I know Monday night it's the Chargers, and the Chargers I put in my top 10 today, my top 10 power ranking, because it was very difficult to do. I had to take a shower after it. I was like, the Chargers. I put them in my top 10. That's going to be an interesting Monday Night Football matchup. That's going to be really interesting. Listener text, Nate, as we all know, that was a ridiculous loss for the Broncos last week. They're still suffering from bad coaching, bad Rusty Wilson play. Hey, careful. Rusty Wilson. We're coming up with all these nicknames. Bad practices, ridiculous mistakes. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to pile on. Listener text, hey, Nate, you may be buying that pizza party if they finish last in the AFC West. Your Broncos stink. Thank you. Are you going to be invited? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Into the drive at 5. I have a question for you. Davante Adams gets charged with misdemeanor assault. He gets charged with misdemeanor assault by that cameraman who got pushed. It wasn't just a bump, Doug Gottlieb. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but it was a push. It was a bad move and a bad look by Davante. What should happen from the NFL? I'll discuss next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
With home values rising in the Black Hills, a cash-out refinance loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great choice. Thinking about home improvements or projects? Think about a cash-out refinance. Possibilities are endless. Consolidate your debt into one mortgage payment. Tap into the equity of your home with Black Hills Community Bank. Get started today using the online loan application at bhcbank.com or call to speak to a mortgage banker. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
The cars, trucks, and SUVs you're looking for are at Denny Menho Rushmore Honda. Shop imports and domestics, many local one-owner trade-ins. Plus, the area's best selection of pre-owned Hondas and Honda certified pre-owned. Buy before October 15th and get a $500 Visa gift card with any Honda certified pre-owned purchase. That's right, get a $500 Visa gift card with your certified pre-owned purchase. And that makes now the best time to buy. See us at Denny Menho Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting heard weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show and the Drive at 5. Driven by Summit Automotive Group. Stacy and Matt at Summit, I'm telling you this, locally owned, car buying truly built around you. They want your friends and family to come there as well. The Summit difference, okay? Experience it. It's not like everyone else. Pre-owned vehicle selection's really good. SummitAutoGRP.com. You're looking for pre-owned vehicles, high quality, great service. SummitAutoGRP.com and the right financing. Find out how. The Summit difference. Okay? Ben Verlander's coming up, Major League Baseball analyst for Fox Sports. I got a few questions here in the ALDS, NLDS. We'll break it down. Stevens boys soccer into the state championship again. They won a state title back in 2015. They've been in the state title match a lot. They've been there a lot. The last one was 2015. They won. They were just there a couple of years ago. Now they're back. Stevens boys head coach Jeff Fierro running a good show. We'll talk Stevens boys soccer. Hey, how about this? Stevens boys in the state championship Saturday. St. Thomas More boys in the state championship Saturday when it comes to soccer. Good stuff. Not enough attention. Not enough attention. Everybody said, oh, East River does everything better. Not quite. You take a look. Soccer, wrestling, track. I mean, we're in the mix. We're in the mix. Okay, Davante Adams, this is the story today, and I want to get to this before we get to Ben Verlander and ask you the question of the day. Davante Adams pushes the photographer. He runs in front of him. You've seen the video, I hope, by now. If you're a sports fan, you've seen it. Davante Adams pushes him, knocks him down. He's got injuries of some sort, and here it is today. Davante Adams has been charged with misdemeanor assault. Misdemeanor assault. It's not like Davante's going to be put away, okay? He's not going to be put away. But just the precedent of that. Just the, he's charged with misdemeanor assault. Where do we stand on this from the NFL's reaction now? Okay? So it's getting into the criminal charges of misdemeanor assault. It's not like it's a massive deal. I hope the photographer's okay. I wouldn't have filed the police report. I will tell you that. And then, I got somebody that sent me a message here that said, Nate, it depends how bad you were hurt. And, if somebody hammered you like that, it's like, I just don't think I would have filed a police report. If I'm on the sideline and I'm running in front of Davante or because stumbling, I get pushed and yeah, I probably wouldn't have liked it. Oh, he's with the Raiders. Nah, I wouldn't have filed a police report. I'm that nice of a Broncos fan. I'm serious. I wouldn't have done it. But where do we sit on the NFL's reaction? What should the NFL do now? That's my question to you. Because the NFL's reviewing it, and they're going to come out with this, I would think, pretty quickly. I mean, he's charged with misdemeanor assault. We'll see, what happens there. Probably not much. But nonetheless, he got charged with it in Kansas City. What should the NFL do? Should they suspend Davante Adams? 1 game? 2 games or more? Or is it just going to be a fine? Where would you? You're Roger Goodell for the day. You are Roger Goodell for the day. You saw the video, the push, the misdemeanor assault. Think about this. This is why I'm having a hard time with it. Okay? Mike Evans got in a fight on the field, Tampa Bay wide receiver, a few weeks ago. Mike Evans got in a fight on the field with Lattimore of the Saints, and he got suspended a game. He got suspended a game for fighting in the game. Okay? Now, this is Adams after a game with a credentialed media member, and pushed him and knocked him over and gets charged with misdemeanor assault. Do you think Davante's going to get hit for a game or 2? I don't know. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Nate, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good to hear from you.
Your hair doing okay with this wind? I mean, I know you spend a lot of time on that.
Yes, I'm a beauty. I'm a beauty.
You and me both. You know what the NFL should do? No more sideline photographers. See how many charges get filed after that.
So you're saying a little over the top. Well,
it's just, you're on the field with them. And, in all honesty, I didn't see exactly what happened. But...
he pushed him. I mean, he knocked him down. He did. He pushed him. He knocked him down. It wasn't good. I don't defend Davante on that piece, but I wouldn't have filed it. If I got pushed over, I just wouldn't have done it myself.
You're a good guy, though. So,
okay.
Yeah, I just think, this is a setup before the lawsuit to, he's looking at Davante Adams as a checkbook.
Well, that's what a lot of people think.
And that's just super sad. I'm not a Raiders fan. I don't have any dog in the fight, but
I got you on that. That's what people say.
Get them off the sideline then. If you don't want to, if you're going to be like that, get off the sideline.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. Good to hear from you. 720-1067. What do you say? Let's go to the poll really quick. Let's go to the poll. Let's see here. Listener text coming in. When will the NFL flex Denver out of the primetime games? Oh, come on. You're still talking about the Broncos? Give me a break. Come on. Listener text, suspend the Raider for the whole year. From a Chiefs fan. Of course. Come on. Yeah, we got everybody's coming alive tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Listener text, 1-game suspension, then let Will Smith slap him. Whoa, that's a good one. I mean, everybody's coming out of the woodwork tonight. That is a good one. It's a good solution. Easy. That's a good solution. What do you say, actually? On the Twitter poll? What should the NFL do? Suspend Davante Adams? Here's the results on the Nate Brown Show question of the day. 64% of you vote no, just fine him. 29% yes, you have to suspend him 1 game. 29% say yes, suspend him 1 game. 8% say yes, you got to suspend him 2 games or more. I have a feeling he's going to get suspended. Mike Evans got popped from a fight in the game. Now we have, this is a bigger story. When it comes down to it, this is a bigger story for the NFL. I believe he's going to get suspended. I don't think multiple, anything like that. I think he's going to get fined and suspended. I think a game. I've been wrong before. That's my guess today, just from how big the story's become, misdemeanor assault and the whole thing. And I think it got overblown, but that's where we're at. Ben Verlander's in Major League Baseball. Fox Sports. Ben's next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Looking for a great used truck or SUV? Danny Menno Toyota has them. Shop a great selection of half-ton trucks and SUVs, imports and domestics, brands like Ford, GMC, Subaru, Nissan, Jeep, and more. Plus, the area's best selection of used Toyotas, Toyota certified pre-owned. Buy with no money down, get financing on the spot with qualified credit. If we don't have exactly what you're looking for, we'll find it for you in our network of dealerships. See us at Danny Menno Toyota or DannyMennoToyota.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
When it comes to protecting your home and your belongings, what works for your neighbor most likely won't work for you. Insurance is personal, and that's why the coverage specialists at Fisher Rounds & Associates work with you to tailor a policy that protects your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions at the most reasonable cost possible. We sweat the small and the big stuff, so you don't have to. That's at your service, at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in. Good stuff tonight. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We are live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Also, the podcast going up each night. If you missed some of the guests, we had former Packers offensive lineman Mike Wall tonight. Broncos beat writer George Stoia live from Denver. Good stuff tonight. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. You can download it where you find your podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon. We have people listening throughout the area on the Nate Brown Show podcast. Listen when you can. You can download it. You've got it right there. Good stuff with Ben Verlander tonight. He's in. ALDS, NLDS cranking. Ben Verlander's on Flippin' Bats podcast. You got to get that when you're getting your podcast as well. Fox Sports Major League Baseball analyst. Ben, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Doing good, man. So it's been a fun start to the playoffs. Let me ask you before we get into the ALDS, NLDS, that whole thing. Biggest surprise so far? Any big surprise? Was it the Padres taking down the Mets? What do you got?
Yeah, Padres taking down the Mets is up there. I think the start that the Phillies got off to in this Braves series is up there as well. It's tough to string a bunch of hits together in the playoffs, and normally the team that out-homers the other is going to win, but the Phillies just singled and doubled them to death yesterday and ended up winning that ball game, and that was one you didn't think they had a chance because they don't have Zach Wheeler or Aaron Nola out there, so now they get to them. So very interesting. That series is very interesting now. You got to assume, the Phillies have a good chance of getting one with Wheeler or Nola on the mound, and next thing you know, they only need one to go. So that's going to be a really good series now. I don't think anybody was giving the Phillies much of a chance to even be here now, and now they have a good chance to beat the Braves.
How big of a collapse was it for the Mets? I mean, when it's all said and done, the payroll, the season start, and then September into October.
Yeah, very disappointing, honestly. This is a Mets team that won 101 games, and they still found a way to let everybody down. They were way too talented to do this. Honestly, they blew it in the regular season. All they needed to do was win one game against the Atlanta Braves, and you win the division. Just needed one. But they couldn't get it done, and they end up getting booted in the first round. Very, very tough.
Okay, Ben Verlander on. How about that Astros game yesterday? I know you were plugged in. You were plugged in. Well, honestly, comes down to the bottom of the ninth, 3-run shot. How did the Astros do this?
They did it by being very. They just never quit, and it seemed like that entire game. It was just Astros would score, and then the Mariners just would score right back, and they wouldn't let them get into it, and they wouldn't let them get close for very long. Every time the Astros scored, there was a quick response, and then that 8th and 9th inning. To be honest with you, those at bats that the Astros had in the 8th and the 9th. Alex Bregman, David Hensley, Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez. Those were some of the best at-bats in back-to-back innings that I have ever seen in a huge game like that. It was very, very, very impressive off of guys throwing 103 miles an hour, nasty stuff. It was very, very impressive, and they just kept fighting till the end, and Yordan did what he does.
Astros come from behind, massive 3-run shot, bottom of the ninth to win it over the Mariners. They were leading the whole game. Ben Verlander on tonight, Major League Baseball analyst, Fox Sports. I've asked baseball guys this, and I'm getting a couple of different answers. Dodgers have owned the Padres in the NL West this regular season. And then last night, same story. Dodgers take control. They win at 5-3. As a baseball player, is that real that we just can't beat these guys?
Yeah, it does get in people's heads. Everybody knows it. Everybody on both sides of the field knows that the Dodgers have dominated the Padres for the last couple of years. It's a clean slate going into it. Yes, none of that matters, but in your head, you still know it to be true, and that can make it difficult. It adds a lot of confidence for the Dodgers on one side, and not much on the other side. So they continue to do what they do to the Dodgers or to the Padres, and they need to win one of these. They need to win one of these next two games, obviously. But the one tonight would be big. You got Yu Darvish on the mound. I do think it's going to be a good game, and if you can win this one, then you're heading home with a split, which is all you needed to do. And they're sitting pretty. So last night was a tough one. You have Clevenger on the mound. I don't think they, obviously you're always trying to win, but they didn't match up great in that game. They knew that. They got their 1, 2, and 3 guys going in the next 3 games. So if they can win this one tonight, they're sitting pretty.
Okay, Ben, who do you like in that pitching matchup, Dodgers, Padres? Yu Darvish or Clayton Kershaw today?
Today, in this day and age, I will be taking I like Yu Darvish. What he has done all year long, he's had a couple of not great starts. Other than that, he was dominant. Clayton Kershaw is obviously a legend of the game and one of the greatest to ever do it. But he's had some injury concerns this year. You don't know what you're going to get from him. I feel like Yu Darvish is going to go out there and put a strong start together, whereas Clayton Kershaw is he's a legend of the game, and how's he going to do this postseason? There's just some question marks around it, so I'll take Darvish tonight.
Okay, you go Darvish. Ben Verlander, and Major League Baseball analyst, Fox Sports. His podcast, Flippin' Bats. Couple more, I'll let him run. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Verlander. Yankees beat the Guardians. Does Cleveland have a shot here?
No. The Guardians have had a very impressive year. They're the youngest team in all of baseball, only the 8th time that team's ever made the playoffs, but this is a tough matchup for them. The Yankees are the far superior team. Everybody has a shot in the playoffs, but they're going to have to play better than they have played all year long. The offense that they've been winning with all year long, where they just pitch better than everybody else and play good defense, the next thing you know, they're winning ball games with 2-3 runs scored. That ain't going to cut it because the Yankees are going to score. So for the Guardians to win this series, they need to hit better than they have hit all year long, and that just doesn't seem very likely.
Let's go to this Yankee story. Give me your reaction. Aroldis Chapman signs a 3-year deal, $48 million. He's not as good as he was. He struggled this year, 4.46 ERA. They weren't sure he was going to be on the postseason roster. He doesn't go reportedly to a Yankees practice, and then they do leave him off the roster. How does that happen?
Somebody that doesn't care enough. That's how that happens. I mean, the whole thing was very weird. And then for him to say he would only show up to the workout if he was guaranteed a roster spot, that just ain't going to cut it. I mean, you're trying to put the best roster out on the field, and if you have somebody with that much of an ego problem and that little care to help a team win, you should leave him off the roster. He deserves to not be on it. He's deserved to not be on that roster for a long time. He's lucky he was on it for as long as he was. So he goes down there, he pulls a boneheaded move, and they left him off the roster. Good. I hope he never pitches for the Yankees again, to be honest with you. That shouldn't fly in Major League Baseball. Somebody making a decision like that is unnecessary and uncalled for, and I'm glad the Yankees left him off.
Last one for you. There with the team you threw out the first pitch and everything with the Angels. Joe Maddon has a new book coming out. People have been talking about it, Ben, and he's saying, hey, a lot of times the front office they call down to the bullpen. There was one time they called down to the bullpen and say, take Mike Trout out. There's other times they looked at the relief pitchers and they said, don't throw these guys today. Is this happening at other places?
Oh, yeah. Analytics have become a big part of the game of baseball, and you'd be very surprised to know how many of the teams down on the field are run by the phones up top. That's happening a lot in Major League Baseball, and Joe Maddon came on my podcast recently and talked a little bit about it, talked about his book, and just said, he still wants to manage, but he wants to manage a team that he's able to manage, and that the calls aren't coming from the numbers and the analytics and what all that says. So it was a great conversation. I'm looking forward to reading his book for sure. But yeah, that definitely happens. Analytics has become a big part of the game, and I think more and more now we're starting to get. I think we got to a point where analytics took over big time, and I think now we're starting to get back to analytics are going to play a big part in the game. But you got to have some feel out there and just somebody that knows the game to push the right button. So hopefully we find a good mixture. But yeah, there were definitely there's definitely times where all the calls are made from up top.
Ben Verlander tonight. The podcast is Flippin' Bats. Download it where you get your podcasts. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Verlander and find him there at Fox Sports. Ben, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.
Of course, Nate. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Ben Verlander tonight on the Nate Brown Show, Major League Baseball analyst for Fox Sports. And his podcast, really good baseball podcast, Flippin' Bats. Download it. If you haven't, that's the one. Find him on Twitter at Ben Verlander. Ben in tonight, and he's taking Yu Darvish tonight. The Padres over the Dodgers. Listener text coming in. It's always pitcher versus the lineup. Yeah, that's how this postseason rolls, right? Usually. That's how this postseason rolls. My question is, I've watched Yu Darvish a lot. I'm a Cubs fan. We had Yu Darvish. And it just seems like big games, it's iffy. It's iffy. So you got game 2. Padres need to win this puppy tonight. Padres got beat last night by the Dodgers. They need this one tonight. Yu Darvish is the guy, right? I don't know about that one. I'm not a big fan of Yu Darvish in the spotlight. I'm not a big fan of you in the spotlight. By the way, they say that some pitchers have put Red Hot, Frank's Red Hot sauce, Red Hot? Some pitchers have put it on their ears to make them dialed in. Like, it's not a sticky substance or anything. It kind of burns and stuff, and it makes you focus, and it that's what they were saying. Andrew McCutchen, you know him, right? Great player. Andrew McCutchen said, no, players have put Frank's Red Hot on their ears to make sure they're dialed in and throwing hard and the whole thing. Supposedly that was the accusation of Joe Musgrove the other day when the Padres beat the Mets last week. That was, he has Red Hot on his ears, and that's why you had the ump going out. I mean, baseball is weird. It is weird. Analytics are telling, don't put this guy in, don't put that guy in. You can't use these 2 guys. Well, I need them. No. They might face a left-handed batter, and he has hit .332 on June 16th. You can't use him. And then you got Frank's Red Hot. Hey, let's go rub the pitcher's ears. Let's see if we can. You got any problems going on here? Yu Darvish, they asked him today before he pitched tonight, what if they have to go and, check your ears and stuff? And Yu Darvish, how about you, a little comedian today? Yu Darvish said, they can check my ears. They can check wherever. Oh, easy. Yu Darvish tonight. You got him? You got Yu Darvish? I'm nervous. For the Padres tonight. Jeff Fierro's on next on the Nate Brown Show. Let's go local with the Stevens boys soccer coach. He's the head coach for the Raiders soccer program. Boy, they're back in the state championship this Saturday. Let's talk to Jeff next.
You're listening to the Nate Brown.
This house is freezing again. Winter is coming. Will it be cold inside your house again? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Renewal by Anderson's incredible Winter is Coming sale is here. Buy one window or patio door. Get the second one of equal or lesser value for 40% off. Plus an additional 5% off the entire project if purchased on the initial consultation. And listen to this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. Payments as low as $89 a month. Hurry, this sale ends October 15th. Scan that code. Visit RBARapidCity.com now.
AB Road, Blackhawk.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox, inviting you to make us your home for the NFL this season. We really wanted Rapid City to have a premier sports bar with great service and great food, and that's why we started the Skybox. We have 35 big screens, we'll show every NFL game all season long, plus we'll have great specials for you to join us on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and all day, of course, on Sunday. The Skybox has the best food and the best experience for NFL football. Check us out on game days, and we look forward to serving you at the Skybox above the Firehouse in downtown Rapid City.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
The call of the wild. October is hunting season, the best time of the year for so many of us. And Renewal by Anderson's It's Hunting Season sale means the hunt is over for the perfect windows and doors at an incredible value. Great hunters are safe, smart, prepared. They've scouted the best spots. They always clearly identify that target before they squeeze the trigger. And the time is now to squeeze the trigger on awesome new windows and doors from Renewal by Anderson. Simply the best you can get. Listen to this. In October, Renewal by Anderson is offering 20% off every window and door. plus an additional $500 off the entire project if purchased during the initial consultation. Plus, no money down, no interest, no payments for 12 whole months. You heard that right. Enjoy your awesome new windows and doors for an entire year before you make your first payment. The hunt is over, but act fast. This sale ends October 31st. Just 31 days to save. It will be over before you know it. Save big bucks, lots of dough without the bull. Visit RBARapidCity.com to set up your in-home consultation. Happy hunting, everyone.
Someone will come in, they'll have a noise under the hood, and we'll go out and take a look at it. We can determine by the type of noise, and usually if we can determine where it's coming from, we can direct them to the piece that has failed. My name is Dick Lemke. Working at Sturtevant's as long as I have, it's definitely become my career. When you need someone to help solve the problem, start with a Sturtevant store near you.
STURDEVANTS, come and see Sturtevant's. Has it Sturtevant's?
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show on a Wednesday. Packed tonight. Great guests across the board. Your sports, your show. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Let's go to the high school scene. I said, boy, soccer right now, we're sitting pretty good. You know, we've seen the boys' programs have some success, the girls' programs. Stevens has been right in the middle of that. They really have. The Stevens boys, last state title was 2015, but they've been in this game a lot. And they're back in it. The state championship match on Saturday. Stevens beats O'Gorman last night 3-0. 3-0. 3-0, okay? You got to get it right. I'm a soccer guy. You got to get this right. 3-0 over O'Gorman. Stevens boys have 8 shutouts on the year. Their head coach is Jeff Fierro, running a good program, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, good to have you. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
I appreciate your time. So, congrats on the win. You beat O'Gorman. When you looked at this team, your team at the start of the year, is this where you expected to be? You always set goals. Is this the team that can get here?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it right. You always set that goal to be in the state championship game, and you know, I have a leadership team with the guys, and they all said that was our goal, not just to be in the state tournament, but to win it. And, you know, so we said, well, what do you got to do to get there? And just kind of wrote it all down. And I don't know, they bought in kind of their plan, and they bought into it. So, yeah, I mean, we thought we'd be here.
Let me ask you your approach, Coach. You know, people that watch soccer, they look, okay, you guys have 8 shutouts, but you also have had some great offense, great attacking. What's your approach? Hey, we're defensive. I'm offensive. We're going to push up. What's your approach with this team?
Well, you know, every coach gets to decide their system, and we run a 4-3-3, which means 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, 3 forwards, and we're just dynamic on any given moment on the field. It could look more like you know, like we got 8 guys back or 9 guys up top, and you know, the guys work hard and they spend a lot of time learning their position and knowing their role, and you know, because you never know what the other team's going to bring or how they're going to do it. So, you know, just a lot of practice and a lot of buy-in from the guys.
Jeff Fierro, Stevens boys head soccer coach. They are in the state AA championship Saturday at Sioux Falls Lincoln coming up this weekend. Okay, I look at it, I say, Stevens scores a lot of goals for you, okay? We've seen him, and he's a great player. When it comes down to it, how about the overall team aspect, spreading it around? What does that look like?
Well, we've got, on our team right now, we've got Zach Williams, who has the school record for the most goals scored in a season and the most goals scored in his career. And to be honest, you know, we needed him someplace else. We didn't need him as much up top. We've got some guys that can score and have been scoring for us. Yeah. You know, we've got Gabe Cox with 13 goals, Sam Cheddar with 10, Ryan Gahn with 9, and a bunch of guys with 5. So
Right.
Instead of just guys scoring so much, we've really spread it around. And Zach pulling back to the defensive midfield, he's just the way we describe it, he's just a monster. He owns that midfield for us and just keeps other teams away from our defenders.
That's really interesting, Coach, because you look at Zach Williams and you say, man, he's a great player. As you said, he's got all these goals, now switches positions, and then a lot of other guys have scored. Was that just the better approach team-wise?
Well, it just happened to be this year. We had a gap kind of in that defensive midfielder position, and it was causing us some trouble at the beginning of the year. And I had a lot of firepower. If I put Zach up top, then that means one of those guys comes to the bench, and so it didn't make sense to have so many prominent players up top and a little weak in the back, and so pulling him back just made a lot of sense. And I've got really, really good center backs too, and outside backs, but you put him in front of them, and they're just really tough to get by.
Stevens boys, a great season under head coach Jeff Fierro. They're in the state match coming up Saturday. Let's talk about that. I said your last title was 2015, but that doesn't mean you haven't been in this game. You've been in it. I mean, you're a regular appearance there. What has been the difference in some of those games you've lost? Is it just the matchup? Maybe it's, we weren't quite ready for the big stage. What's been the learning process in the losses?
Yeah, our first loss, we won in 2015 and then came back in 2016 and had a lot of the same guys. We went in super confident, and I've got to give it to Aberdeen Central's head coach Steve Cogley. They had a better game plan, and they took it to us, and I think that really helped us, in years after that, because we didn't take teams for granted, and we went in more prepared, and I don't know, that's the one that sticks out in my mind, is that we kind of went in overconfident that year, and Aberdeen Central beat us the year after we beat them in 2015. But the other time that we were there, we went in undefeated against O'Gorman, and then picked up a red card, played a man down, and just couldn't quite equalize it. But the guys yesterday, I've got some guys on the team from that game, and they were calling that a revenge match yesterday, and they played like it.
Yeah, that was a great win yesterday. Stevens boys beat O'Gorman 3-0. Now they take on Lincoln. Lincoln's been good, Coach. What does it look like Saturday?
Yeah, they're well coached, and they've got a lot of really good players. We've been watching game film, and we kind of have an idea of what we want to do and some things that they do that we want to make sure that we stop them from doing them, and maybe a couple things that we can take advantage of. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. Both teams are playing well and hitting their stride here at the end of the season.
Stevens boys soccer head coach Jeff Fierro. The Raiders go to Sioux Falls to take on Sioux Falls Lincoln in the state championship this Saturday. Coach, good to have you. Great season. Best of luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks a lot, Nate.
I appreciate the time. Jeff Fierro on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Running a good show there. They've been in that state title match a few times here. Won it last in 2015. They were last there in 2020 and got clipped. Now they're back in 2022 against Sioux Falls Lincoln. Can the Raiders get it done? Tough match. That'll be Saturday coming up out East River. Good stuff tonight on the Nate Brown Show. We're back with who's hot and who's not. So there's a big FCS football game, right? A big FCS football game. North Dakota State and South Dakota State, right? No. I've got another FCS football game. They moved it. It's so big. And it's in my who's not category tonight. Tell you why next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
great news from Dale's Tire and Retreading. We are now part of the Pops Tire Service Network. Same 2 locations, new name. Pops Tire is committed to the same great service that Dale's has provided Rapid City. Pops is one of the largest commercial tire and retread dealers in the country. Whatever your tire choice, make Pops your choice. We welcome this opportunity to support and grow with the Dale's Tire customers. Visit your local Pops for all your auto, light truck, commercial, and farm tire needs.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio, sales, service, and recreation, this is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show, wrapping it up every night at this time. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Wednesday, today, it's Kids Night. The Pizza Ranch Buffet, one child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. The best buffet in town is at the Pizza Ranch Buffet your way. 2 locations in Rapid City. And the new Fun Zone Arcade expanded at the Rapid City Pizza Ranch South. Expanded arcade. Really, really fun for the kids. Who's hot category goes to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Oh, what am I talking about? The Huskers. I'm going to put this in my Who's Hot because I think it's good. The national media poo-poos it, and they think, oh, it's ridiculous. I think it's passion. The Cornhuskers are announcing they expect a sellout the rest of the season, and the sellout streak at 386 games in a row, a sellout crowd for the Huskers, right? But here's the latest update. One fan has announced they'll be buying $21,000 worth of tickets. So the national, that's how they keep the sellout streak. They have donors stepping up and dropping cash. It's passion. It's the Huskers. It's Husker Nation. Go Big Red. $21,000 to keep the sellout streak going. More power to him. He's got more money than me. I'll put him in my Who's Hot. In my Who's Not category, it's this FCS football game. So this is something. Jacksonville State's getting ready to move up to FBS, okay? So what's going on? Jacksonville State's playing North Alabama. This is their 50th meeting. So they say, kind of a big deal. And Jacksonville State's going to move up. So they say, let's move the game. They move it to a baseball stadium in Alabama. North Alabama and Jacksonville State, FCS, moving to a baseball stadium to play this. Turns out it's not big enough. They have to only go one way because there's only room for a goalpost on one side. People can watch it in the baseball stadium. So get this. Every team's going the same way on offense. They only have one goalpost. That's not a football game. It's like, so what if the wind's blowing the other way? It's like, oh, this team has the wind at their back. Well, now that team has the wind at their back, too. It's like, you can't do this. Think about it. This is a college football game. This isn't like the Black Hills Youth Football League's like, hey, we can only go one way today, guys. They're doing this weekend. Good luck. One-way football. Have fun. The Nate Brown Show in the books. Back tomorrow on a packed Thursday at 4. We'll see you here. The Odd Couple's on right now.
He's married. One guy is